The morning light filtered through the cotton curtains of the small rental house, casting soft shadows across the hardwood floor. Olivia Bennet sat at her makeshift desk in the corner of the living room, her fingers moving across the keyboard with practiced efficiency. The smell of coffee lingered in the air, mixing with the faint scent of strawberry shampoo from Emma's morning bath. "Mommy, look!" Olivia glanced over her shoulder. Emma stood in the center of the room, wearing her favorite yellow dress with the sunflower print, holding up a drawing. The paper trembled slightly in her small hands. "That's beautiful, sweetheart." Olivia saved her work and turned her chair around. "Tell me about it." Emma walked closer, her bare feet padding softly against the floor. At 4 years old, she was small for her age, with dark blonde curls that caught the light, and green eyes that seemed too knowing for someone so young. "This is our house." Emma pointed to a blue rectangle with a red triangle on top. "And this is you, a stick figure with brown scribbles for hair. And this is me, a smaller figure holding the taller one's hand." Olivia's chest tightened. She knew what was missing, the same thing that was always missing. "It's perfect, baby. Should we put it on the refrigerator?" Emma nodded, but her expression had shifted. That quiet, thoughtful look that appeared more frequently lately. The knock at the door came exactly at 9:30. Julie Martinez didn't believe in being late. "It's open," Olivia called. Julie entered like a small hurricane, her black hair pulled into a messy bun, her scrubs printed with cartoon bears. She carried a paper bag that smelled like fresh donuts. "I brought contraband." Julie set the bag on the coffee table and scooped Emma into a hug. "How's my favorite artist?" Emma giggled, squirming. "Julie, you're squishing me." "That's the point." Julie set her down and looked at Olivia. "You look tired." "Good morning to you, too." Julie dropped onto the couch, her sneakers squeaking against the floor. "I'm serious. When's the last time you slept past 6? Olivia closed her laptop. "I had a deadline. The Morrison project needed final revisions." "The Morrison project paid you $800 for 6 weeks of work?" Julie pulled a donut from the bag and took a bite. "You're worth more than that." "It's steady income." "It's exploitation." Emma had settled on the floor with her coloring books, humming softly to herself. Olivia watched her for a moment, then moved to the couch beside Julie. "I'm not having this conversation again." "Good, because I'm having a different one." Julie pulled out her phone, scrolled for a moment, then turned the screen toward Olivia. "Did you see this?" The article headline filled the screen in bold letters. "Coal Innovations expands to Portside, CEO to personally oversee launch." The room became very still. Olivia's hands had stopped moving. She stared at the screen, at the photograph below the headline. Nathan Cole stood in front of a glass building wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. His dark blonde hair was styled back from his face. Those steel gray eyes looked directly at the camera with the same intensity she remembered. 4 years. 4 years since she'd seen that face anywhere but in her daughter's features. "Liv," Julie's voice had gentled. "Say something." "When?" The word came out rough. "The office opens next month, but according to this, he's already in town. Arrived yesterday for preliminary meetings." Olivia stood abruptly. She walked to the window, her arms wrapping around herself. Outside, the street was quiet. Mrs. Patterson watered her garden next door. A delivery truck passed slowly. Everything normal. Everything the same as it had been 20 minutes ago. Except it wasn't. "Mommy?" Emma's small voice cut through the silence. "Are you sad?" Olivia turned. Emma had abandoned her coloring, her green eyes wide and concerned. Those eyes. Nathan's eyes in shape and intensity. Olivia's in color. "No, baby, I'm fine." Olivia managed a smile. "Keep coloring. I'll make lunch soon." Emma studied her for a long moment, then returned to her books. But the humming had stopped. Julie joined Olivia at the window. "What are you going to do?" "Nothing. Portside isn't that small, but it's not that big either." "Liv." He made his choice. Olivia's voice was flat. 4 years ago. He doesn't get to disrupt our life now. Julie was quiet for a moment. "Did you ever think maybe he doesn't know?" "His father knew. That's the same thing." The memory surfaced unwanted. Richard Cole's office, all dark wood and leather. The check on the desk between them. More zeros than Olivia had ever seen in one place. His voice, calm and reasonable. Nathan has a future ahead of him. This situation would complicate things tremendously. He's asked me to handle this matter discreetly. She'd left the check on his desk, left the city 3 days later. I need to get back to work. Olivia moved toward her laptop. Running away again? Olivia spun. Excuse me? Julie held up her hands. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, you built a life here. A good life. Don't let him take that from you by making you hide. I'm not hiding. Then what are you doing? Olivia opened her mouth, closed it. Her phone buzzed on the desk. She grabbed it, grateful for the interruption. The notification was from a local news app, another article about coal innovations. This one included quotes from Nathan about his vision for the portside expansion, his commitment to the community, his personal investment in the project's success. Her hands were shaking. Emma appeared at her side, tugging her sleeve. "Mommy, can we go to the park?" Olivia looked down at her daughter, at the hopeful expression, the slight gap between her front teeth, the small fingers clutching yellow fabric. "Sure, sweetheart. Let me finish one thing first." Emma beamed and ran back to gather her shoes. Julie touched Olivia's shoulder. "You okay?" "I have to be." After Julie left, Olivia tried to focus on work. The design on her screen blurred. She kept seeing that photograph. Nathan looked older, sharper. The boyish quality she remembered had been replaced by something harder. Had he ever been boyish? Or had she invented that, filled in gaps with what she wanted to see? Their relationship had lasted 3 months, 13 weeks of intensity that felt like falling. Then nothing. His assistant calling to say Mr. Cole believed they'd both benefit from pursuing other opportunities, professional language for a personal rejection. She discovered the pregnancy 2 weeks later. "Ready!" Emma stood by the door, her light-up sneakers on the wrong feet. Olivia knelt and helped her switch them. "There, now we're ready." At the park, Emma ran straight for the swings. Olivia pushed her, listening to her daughter's laughter, watching her curls fly back with each arc. "Higher, Mommy." Olivia pushed harder. Emma's joy was uncomplicated, pure. This was what mattered. Not old wounds, not men who made choices that shattered everything. Her phone buzzed again. She pulled it from her pocket, expect another news alert. Unknown number. Local area code. Her thumb hovered over the screen. "Mommy, watch me jump." Olivia looked up just as Emma launched herself from the swing at its highest point. 4 years old and absolutely fearless. She landed in the sand, stumbled, then threw her arms up in triumph. "Did you see?" "I saw. That was very brave." Olivia slipped the phone back into her pocket without checking the message. "Want to try the slide?" They stayed at the park until Emma's cheeks were flushed and her energy finally flagged. Walking home, Emma's small hand in hers, Olivia felt the phone's weight against her hip like a stone. She didn't check it until Emma was down for her nap. The message was simple. "We need to talk," followed by a name she hadn't seen in 4 years, Nathan Cole. He'd found her. The Portside Medical Center smelled like antiseptic and floor polish. Olivia held Emma's hand as they walked down the corridor, their footsteps echoing against linoleum. Emma's grip was tighter than usual. "I don't like the heart doctor," Emma whispered. "I know, baby, but Dr. Morgan is nice, remember? He gave you that sticker last time." The sticker didn't make the cold thing feel better. The cold thing, Emma's name for the stethoscope. Olivia squeezed her hand gently. They'd been coming to these appointments for 2 years now, ever since Emma's pediatrician had detected the murmur during a routine checkup. Minor, they'd said. Something to monitor. Usually nothing to worry about. Usually. Dr. Philip Morgan's office was at the end of the hall. Through the window beside his door, Olivia could see the small boats in the harbor, their masts swaying gently. She'd deliberately avoided checking her phone all morning. Nathan's message sat unanswered, a weight she couldn't quite shake. The receptionist smiled at them. "Go on in, Dr. Morgan is ready." The examination room was decorated with cheerful underwater scenes. A sea turtle smiled from one wall, a dolphin leapt across another. Emma climbed onto the examination table, her legs dangling. Dr. Morgan entered moments later, his salt and pepper hair slightly disheveled, reading glasses perched on his nose. He'd been practicing pediatric cardiology for 20 years, and his kind brown eyes had seen everything. "Emma," he smiled warmly, "I like your shoes. Are those new?" Emma looked down at her light-up sneakers and nodded shyly. "Very cool. He pulled up a stool and sat, making himself level with Emma. "Okay if I listen to your heart today? I promise the cold thing won't be too cold." Emma glanced at Olivia, who nodded encouragingly. The examination was routine at first. Dr. Morgan listened, moved the stethoscope, listened again. His expression remained neutral, professional. But Olivia had been watching doctors examine her daughter for 2 years. She'd learned to read the tiny shifts in posture, the slight tightening around the eyes. Something was different. "Emma, you're doing great." Dr. Morgan straightened and made a note on his tablet. "Can you take some big breaths for me? In and out, nice and slow." Emma complied, her small chest rising and falling. More notes. Dr. Morgan's fingers moved across the screen with careful precision. "All right, sweetheart, you did perfectly." He stood and moved toward the counter, where a jar of stickers sat beside boxes of latex gloves. "Pick any 2 you want." While Emma deliberated between a unicorn and a dinosaur, Dr. Morgan gestured for Olivia to join him by the door. His voice was low. "I'm hearing some irregularity that wasn't present at her last visit. I want to order an echocardiogram and possibly a stress test." Olivia's throat tightened. What kind of irregularity? The murmur has become more pronounced. It could be nothing, could be normal development, but given her history, I'd rather be thorough. "When?" "I can get her scheduled for next week, sooner if possible." He paused. "I know this is worrying, but catching things early is always better." Olivia nodded, not trusting her voice. Emma appeared beside her, proudly displaying both stickers on her dress. "Look, Mommy, I got both." "They're beautiful, baby." At the receptionist's desk, Olivia made the appointments and received the paperwork. The costs were listed at the bottom. Even with insurance, the numbers made her stomach clench. She'd been saving carefully, building a small emergency fund, but medical bills had a way of demolishing careful planning. She folded the papers and slipped them into her bag. The hospital cafe was on the first floor, all windows and natural light. Emma wanted apple juice and a cookie, and Olivia couldn't find a reason to say no. They sat at a small table near the entrance, Emma swinging her legs and chattering about the sea turtle painting. "Can we get a turtle, Mommy? Turtles need special tanks and lots of care." "I'd take care of it. I'd feed it every day." "We'll see." It was the answer Olivia gave when she meant no, but didn't want to argue. Emma seemed to understand this, returning to her cookie with only minimal pouting. Olivia's coffee was bitter. She added more sugar, stirred, and tried not to calculate costs in her head. The echocardiogram, the stress test, if they found something requiring treatment, if Emma needed medication or procedures or... She stopped that line of thinking. "I have to use the bathroom," Emma announced. "Okay, let's go." "I can go by myself. I'm big." The restrooms were visible from their table, just across the cafe entrance. Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "Straight there and straight back. Don't talk to anyone." Emma slid from her chair and walked toward the restrooms with exaggerated care, clearly proud of her independence. Olivia watched until she disappeared through the door, then checked her phone. 3 missed calls, all from the unknown number. No new messages. Her finger hovered over the delete button. The scream was small but sharp. Olivia was on her feet before conscious thought, her chair scraping loudly. She ran toward the restrooms, her heart hammering. Emma stood in the hallway just outside the cafe, looking up. A man knelt beside her, one hand steadying her shoulder. He'd caught her. She must have run out too quickly, collided with him. The man looked up. Time became strange and slow. Nathan Cole's steel-gray eyes met hers across 15 feet of hospital corridor. His hand was still on Emma's shoulder. His expression shifted through several emotions too quickly to name, settling finally on something Olivia couldn't read. Recognition. He'd been speaking to Emma, probably apologizing for the collision. Now his words trailed off. He stayed kneeling, frozen in place, his gaze moving from Olivia to Emma and back again. Emma twisted to look at her mother. "Mommy, I bumped into this man. I said sorry." Olivia's legs moved without permission. She crossed the distance and took Emma's hand, pulling her daughter gently but firmly against her side. "It's fine. We need to go." Nathan stood slowly. He was taller than she remembered, or maybe she'd forgotten what it felt like to stand this close to him. He wore dark jeans and a gray button-down, the sleeves rolled to his elbows. Casual for him. He mourned. Had to come from somewhere less formal than his office. His eyes kept returning to Emma, to her dark blonde curls, to the shape of her face. to those green eyes in that particular setting. Olivia watched him calculate, watched the math happen behind his expression. Emma, oblivious to the tension, looked up at Nathan with open curiosity. "Are you okay, mister? I didn't hurt you, did I?" Nathan's voice, when he finally spoke, was rough. "No, you didn't hurt me." His gaze lifted to Olivia. Something complicated moved across his features. Confusion, shock, the beginning of understanding. Olivia. Just her name, but it held 4 years of silence. "We're leaving." Olivia's voice came out steadier than she felt. She tightened her grip on Emma's hand. "Wait," Nathan took a step forward. "Is she?" Olivia didn't let him finish. She turned and walked quickly toward the exit, pulling Emma along. Her daughter protested softly about the cookie left behind, but Olivia kept moving. Behind them, Nathan called her name again. She didn't stop. The parking lot was bright with afternoon sun. Olivia fumbled with her keys, her hands shaking so badly it took 3 tries to unlock the car. She lifted Emma into her booster seat, buckled her in with trembling fingers. "Mommy, you're scaring me." "I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry." Olivia forced herself to slow down, to breathe. "Everything's fine. I just remembered we're late for something." Emma's lower lip trembled. She was too perceptive, always had been. Olivia kissed her forehead. "I promise. Everything's okay." She closed the door and moved to the driver's side. Before getting in, she looked back at the hospital entrance. Nathan stood just outside the doors, hands in his pockets, watching them. Even from this distance, she could see the tension in his shoulders. He'd put it together. The timeline, Emma's age, the resemblance. He knew. Olivia got in the car and started the engine. Her hands gripped the steering wheel hard enough to hurt. In the rearview mirror, as she pulled out of the parking space, she saw Nathan still standing there, motionless, staring after them. She drove home carefully, checking her speed, using turn signals, focusing on the mechanical details of driving to keep panic at bay. Emma was quiet in the back seat. When they reached the house, Olivia carried her inside, despite protests that she was too big to be carried. She needed to hold her daughter, needed to feel the solid reality of her. "Movie time?" she suggested. Emma nodded against her shoulder. They settled on the couch with a blanket. Olivia put on Emma's favorite animated film, the one about the lost fish. Emma curled against her side, warm and small. Olivia's phone buzzed. She knew without looking who it was. Her phone was in her bag by the door, too far away to check, but she felt each vibration like a physical thing. 1 buzz, 2, 3. He was coming. Tonight, tomorrow, soon. There was nowhere left to run. The knocking started at 8:30, just after Olivia had finished reading Emma her bedtime story. She'd been expecting it, dreading it. The afternoon had passed in a haze of forced normalcy, playing with blocks and making dinner and pretending her world wasn't tilting sideways. Emma had finally fallen asleep 20 minutes ago, clutching her stuffed rabbit. 3 firm knocks. A pause. 3 more. Olivia stood in the hallway between Emma's bedroom and the front door, her heart hammering against her ribs. She could pretend she wasn't home, keep the lights off, stay silent, wait for him to leave. But Nathan Cole didn't become a billionaire by giving up easily. She walked to the door and opened it without removing the chain. Nathan stood on her small porch, still wearing the same clothes from the hospital. His hair was slightly disheveled, as if he'd been running his hands through it. The porch light cast shadows across his face, making the sharp angles sharper. "We need to talk." His voice was controlled, but something dangerous lurked beneath the surface. "It's late. My daughter is sleeping." "My daughter." The words came out flat. "Is she mine, Olivia?" "You need to leave." "Answer the question." Olivia's fingers tightened on the door. "You don't get to show up here and demand anything from me." "I saw her. I saw her eyes, her face." Nathan stepped closer. "How old is she?" 4. The number hung between them like a verdict. Nathan's jaw clenched. "Let me in, please." "No." "Then come outside. We're not having this conversation through a chain lock." Olivia hesitated. Every instinct screamed to slam the door, to hide, to protect what she'd built. But Julie's words echoed in her mind. Don't let him take that from you by making you hide. She closed the door, slid off the chain, and stepped onto the porch, pulling it shut behind her. The night air was cool. Somewhere down the street, a dog barked. Nathan had moved to the porch railing. His back was to her, his shoulders rigid. Is she mine? He didn't turn around. Yes. The word was simple, final. 4 years of silence shattered with one syllable. Nathan's hands gripped the railing. His knuckles went white. Why didn't you tell me? I tried. Olivia's voice was harder than she intended. You made it very clear you didn't want to hear from me. He spun to face her. What are you talking about? You disappeared. You left without a word. Your assistant called me, remember? Very professional, very cold. Mr. Cole believes it would be beneficial for both parties to pursue other opportunities. That was 3 days after our last night together. I never told anyone to make that call. Of course you didn't. You had other people handle your messes. Olivia crossed her arms. Just like you had your father handle me. Nathan went very still. My father? Don't pretend you don't know. He called me to his office 2 weeks after you ghosted me, right after I found out I was pregnant. Offered me $500,000 to disappear and never contact you again. He what? The shock in Nathan's voice sounded genuine. Olivia studied his face, looking for the lie, for the performance. She found only raw disbelief. Your father said you didn't want the baby, that it would ruin everything you'd worked for, that you'd asked him to handle the situation discreetly. The memory tasted bitter. He had a check already written, all those zeros. He said I should take it and be grateful. Nathan's expression had shifted into something cold and dangerous. And you believed him? Why wouldn't I? You'd already thrown me away like I was nothing. He just confirmed what I already knew. I didn't throw you away. Your assistant called. I never authorized that call. Nathan's voice rose. I was in Singapore, 48 hours of back-to-back meetings for a merger. When I got back, you were gone. Your number disconnected, your apartment empty. My father told me you'd left, voluntarily, that you'd taken money and wanted nothing to do with me. Olivia felt the ground shift beneath her. That's not what happened. Isn't it? You said he offered you money. I didn't take it. I left it on his desk and walked out. Nathan stared at her. You didn't take the money?
No. Then how did you? He gestured vaguely at the house, the life she'd built. 4 years, alone, with a child. I worked, I struggled, I figured it out. Olivia's voice was sharp with old pain. Because that's what you do when someone you trusted destroys your life. I didn't know. Nathan's hands had curled into fists at his sides. I swear to you, Olivia, I didn't know about the baby. I didn't know you were pregnant. I thought you left because you wanted to, because my father convinced you I wasn't worth the trouble. Your father said you sent him. My father is a manipulative bastard who thinks he controls everything. Nathan's voice was ice. But he doesn't control this. Not anymore. They stood in silence. Somewhere in the distance, a car drove past. The dog had stopped barking. Olivia's mind was racing, rearranging 4 years of certainty into something else, something more complicated. You really didn't know? No. Nathan met her eyes. If I had known, if I had even suspected, nothing would have kept me away. Not my father, not the company, nothing. But you let me go so easily. One phone call and you were done with me. I didn't make that call. Nathan ran a hand through his hair, the gesture frustrated and weary. I came back from Singapore to find you gone. When I tried to reach you, everything was disconnected. I went to your apartment. The landlord said you'd broken your lease and left no forwarding address. My father told me you'd realized our relationship was a mistake, that you'd accepted a settlement to make a clean break. I never accepted anything. I know that now. Nathan's voice was rough. But then, I thought you'd walked away from me, from us. I was angry and hurt, and I let my father convince me it was for the best, that you were never serious about me. Olivia leaned back against the door. Her legs felt unsteady. We were both lied to. Yes. The words settled between them like ash. He knew, Olivia said quietly. Your father knew I was pregnant. He offered me that money to make sure I disappeared. Did he say why? The merger. He said you were on the verge of the biggest deal of your career, that a pregnancy scandal would destroy everything, that you'd asked him to offer me whatever it took to go away quietly. Nathan's expression had gone cold again, but not at her. The titanium merger, worth $800 million. He was right that it was crucial, but I would have burned it all down if I'd known about her, about Emma. Hearing him say her daughter's name made it real in a new way. You can't just appear in her life because you feel guilty. This isn't about guilt. Nathan stepped closer. She's my daughter. She's been fine without you for 4 years. Has she? Nathan's voice was quiet. Or has she been asking questions you didn't know how to answer? Olivia flinched. He'd hit something raw and true. I've been enough for her. I'm not saying you haven't, but I'm her father, Olivia. You can hate me, you can never forgive me, but you can't keep me from her. Watch me. I'll go to court if I have to. The threat hung in the air. Olivia felt ice flood her veins. You'd drag us through that? You'd put her through that? Nathan's expression softened slightly. I don't want to, but I won't walk away from my child, not now that I know she exists. You have no rights here. I have every right. Biologically, legally, morally, I'm her father. He paused. But I'd rather not make this a war, for her sake. Olivia wanted to scream, wanted to push him off her porch and lock every door and window, wanted to take Emma and run again, somewhere farther this time, somewhere he couldn't find them. But running had a cost. Stability, community, the life she'd carefully built. Emma's doctors were here, her friends, her routine. And beneath the fear, beneath the anger, a small voice whispered that maybe Emma deserved to know her father, if he was telling the truth, if he'd really been manipulated just like she had. I need time, she said finally. How much time? I don't know. This is overwhelming. I need to think. Nathan studied her. What's her name? Her full name? Emma Cole Bennett. Something shifted in his expression. You gave her my name? Part of it. I thought she deserved that much, even if you didn't want her. I did want her. I just didn't know she existed. Nathan's voice had roughed. What's she like? Olivia hesitated. Then, despite everything, she found herself answering. She's bright, curious. She loves art and stories and asking impossible questions. She's cautious around new people, but fierce when she trusts you. She has your stubbornness and your strength. The compliment was unexpected. Olivia looked away. She has a heart condition, she said abruptly. A murmur. We've been monitoring it for 2 years. Today, the doctor said it's gotten worse. She needs more tests. Nathan's face went pale. Is she okay? I don't know yet. The tests are next week. I want to be there. No. Olivia, I said no. You can't just walk into her life when she's scared and vulnerable. She doesn't even know you exist. Then let me meet her, properly, before the tests. I need to think about what's best for her. I am what's best for her. I'm her father. You're a stranger. Olivia's voice was firm. And until I figure out what's true and what isn't, until I know you're not going to hurt her worse than your absence already has, you stay away. Nathan looked like he wanted to argue. His jaw worked, his hands clenching and unclenching. Finally, he nodded. 1 week. Figure out what you need to figure out. But then we talk again, and I meet my daughter. The family lawyer's office smelled like old books and lemon furniture polish. Olivia sat in a leather chair that squeaked every time she shifted, Emma's medical file heavy in her lap. Across the desk, Margaret Brennan reviewed the documents Olivia had brought with meticulous attention. Margaret was 63, sharp-eyed, and had handled Olivia's lease agreements when she'd first moved to Portside. She charged reasonable rates and didn't waste time on pleasantries. He hasn't established paternity legally, Margaret said, setting down the birth certificate. You listed father as unknown. I didn't know how to find him. His people made it clear I wasn't welcome. Margaret made a note on her yellow legal pad. But now he knows, and he's wealthy, which complicates things. Men with resources can draw out custody battles for years. Olivia's stomach twisted. I'm not trying to keep him away. I just need to protect Emma. Understandable, but courts favor parental rights. If he pushes for a paternity test and it confirms what you already know, he'll have grounds for visitation at minimum, possibly shared custody. The words felt like stones dropping into water. What are my options? Establish boundaries before lawyers get involved. Written agreements about gradual introduction, supervised visits initially, clear expectations. If he's reasonable, he'll agree. If not, we file preemptively for sole custody with limited visitation rights and make him fight uphill. Olivia nodded slowly. And if Emma needs medical treatment?
Expensive treatment? Margaret's expression softened slightly. If he offers financial help, get it in writing. Make sure there are no strings attached, no clauses about custody modifications in exchange for payment. Keep everything separate. He could afford the best lawyers. He could, but judges care about stability and the child's best interests. You've been her only parent for 4 years. That counts for something. Olivia left the office with more questions than answers, and a retainer agreement that would cost her 3 months of careful savings. Julie was waiting at the coffee shop next door, Emma coloring at a corner table with headphones on, watching a cartoon on Julie's tablet. Well, Julie pushed a latte across the table as Olivia sat down. It's complicated. Everything with billionaire baby daddies is complicated. Olivia managed a weak smile. Margaret says if he pursues legal paternity, he'll likely get visitation, maybe more. Do you believe him about not knowing? Olivia had been asking herself the same question for 3 days. She'd barely slept, playing the confrontation over and over in her mind. Nathan's shock had seemed genuine, his anger at his father raw and unfiltered. I don't know, maybe, but it doesn't change anything. He still left. His father still tried to pay me off. His father, not him. He trusted his father over me. Julie took a sip of her coffee. Did he have reason not to? You'd been together 3 months. His father's been in his life for 37 years. Whose side are you on? Emma's, always. Julie glanced at the little girl, content with her coloring. She deserves a father if he's willing to be one, a real one, not just a name on a birth certificate. What if he hurts her? What if he gets bored or decides being a father is too complicated for his lifestyle? Then you deal with it, but you can't protect her from every possible pain, Liv. Sometimes you have to take the risk. Olivia's phone buzzed. Unknown number again, but this time there was a message preview. I have information you need to see, about my father, about what really happened. Please. Her thumb hovered over the screen. Is that him? Julie asked. Yes. You gonna answer? Olivia deleted the message without opening it fully. I need more time. That afternoon, while Emma napped, Olivia opened her laptop and did what she'd avoided for 4 years. She searched for Nathan Cole. The results were endless. Articles about Cole Innovations' expansion, interviews about artificial intelligence and market disruption, profiles in business magazines. Photos of Nathan at conferences, at charity galas, always composed, always in control. She found photos with women, beautiful women in expensive dresses at his side during various events. None appeared more than twice. No engagement announcements, no relationship confirmations. She dug deeper, searching for anything about his father. Richard Cole had retired from active management 2 years ago, but remained on the board of directors. There were older articles about his ruthless business tactics, his reputation for eliminating competition, his belief that family legacy came before individual happiness. One interview from 6 years ago caught her attention. Richard Cole discussing his son's future. Nathan understands that personal desires must sometimes be sacrificed for greater success. He has the discipline to make difficult choices. That's what separates the successful from the mediocre. Olivia's skin crawled reading it. Her email pinged. The sender was an address she didn't recognize, but the subject line was clear. Evidence you requested. She hadn't requested anything. Olivia opened the email cautiously. No virus warnings appeared. Inside was a brief message and 3 attachment links. Miss Bennett, you don't know me.
I'm Nathan Cole's personal attorney. He asked me to compile this information for you. He wanted you to have documentation rather than just his word. The recordings and documents are authentic and unaltered. He hopes you'll review them before making any decisions about your daughter. Regards, Thomas Whitfield, Esquire. The first attachment was a bank statement from Richard Cole's personal account, a payment of $500,000, dated 4 years ago. The notation read, "Personal matter, confidential settlement." The second was a recorded phone conversation. Olivia's hand shook slightly as she clicked play. Richard Cole's voice came through her laptop speakers, clear and commanding. "The situation has been handled. The girl accepted the settlement and signed a non-disclosure agreement." Nathan's voice responded, younger sounding, strained. "You're sure she's gone?" "Completely. She understood this was best for everyone involved. Some people know their place, Nathan. She was smart enough to take the money and disappear. I thought she was different. They're all the same when enough zeros are involved. You'll see that eventually. This was a learning experience. Now, focus on the merger. That's what matters." A long pause. Then Nathan, quieter. "Yeah, what matters?" The recording ended. Olivia sat back, her heart pounding. Nathan had believed the lie completely. His father had been convincing, adding details that didn't exist. A non-disclosure agreement Olivia never signed, an acceptance she never gave. The third attachment was a document dated 3 days ago, a private investigator's report detailing Richard Cole's activities 4 years prior, including a meeting with Olivia Bennett at his office, security footage timestamps showing her leaving without any paperwork, and bank records confirming she'd never deposited or cashed any check from Richard or Nathan Cole. Nathan had done his homework, thoroughly. Her phone rang. This time, she recognized the number. She answered. "I got your email." "I'm not trying to manipulate you." Nathan's voice was tired. "I just wanted you to have facts, not just my word against my father's. The recording could be faked. It could be, but it's not. You can have it independently verified if you want. I'll pay for it." Olivia rubbed her temples. "Why does your father hate me so much? He didn't even know me." "You were a distraction, someone I cared about more than the company, even for a few months. That was unacceptable to him. He spent my entire life trying to mold me into his version of success. Anything that threatened that had to be eliminated. I'm not a threat, I was just a person. You made me happy. That was threatening enough." Nathan paused. "I confronted him yesterday. And? He doesn't apologize. He says he did what was necessary, that he should thank him for saving him from a complicated situation that would have derailed his career. What did you say?" "I told him he's no longer part of my life, that he'll never meet Emma, that if he comes near either of you, I'll destroy him in ways that have nothing to do with courts or lawyers." The venom in Nathan's voice was startling. "He's still your father," Olivia said quietly. "He stopped being my father the moment he lied to both of us and stole 4 years. I can't get back. 4 years of my daughter's life."
"I need to think," she said finally. "I know, but Olivia, there's something else you should know. Emma's medical tests. I called in some favors. Dr. Morgan is excellent, but I've arranged for a consult with Dr. Sarah Reeves at Boston Children's Hospital. She's the best pediatric cardiac surgeon on the East Coast. I had my assistant send her Emma's files. She's reviewing them now." Anger flared hot in Olivia's chest. "You had no right to access Emma's medical records. I didn't access anything you didn't already tell me. I gave Dr. Weaves the basic information, the diagnosis you shared, and asked for a preliminary opinion. That's all. No records transferred without your permission. You can't just take over. I'm not trying to take over. I'm trying to help. If our daughter needs specialized care, she should have the best available. Money shouldn't be a barrier to that. Our daughter." The phrase sent a jolt through Olivia's system. "I can handle her medical care. Can you afford $180,000 if she needs surgery?" The number hit like a physical blow. "How do you know that?" "Because I asked.
Specialized pediatric cardiac procedures cost between $150,000 and $200,000, depending on complexity. Most insurance covers 60% if you're lucky. Can you afford the rest? Olivia's silence was answer enough. Let me help her, Nathan said quietly. Not to buy my way in, not to manipulate you, but because she's my daughter and she deserves the best possible care. Whatever happens between us, whatever you decide about me being in her life, she needs this. Please. Olivia closed her eyes. Pride warred with reality, with the image of Emma's small face, her trust, her fear of doctors. I'll think about it. That's all I'm asking. Just think about it. After they hung up, Olivia sat in the quiet house, listening to Emma's soft breathing from the bedroom. The medical bills sat in a folder on her desk, the lawyer's retainer agreement, the stack of freelance projects that barely covered rent and groceries. She'd been so certain of her narrative. Nathan had abandoned them, his family had tried to buy her silence, she was the victim, he was the villain, and Emma was better off without him. But the evidence suggested something more complicated. Two people manipulated by a third. Both of them lied to, both of them hurt, both of them losing years they couldn't reclaim. Her phone buzzed one more time. A text from Nathan's lawyer's number, but the message was clearly from Nathan himself. I know I don't deserve your trust, but I'm asking for a chance to earn it, for Emma's sake. That's all. Just a chance. Olivia looked at Emma's drawings on the refrigerator, the stick figures, the missing person in every family portrait. She typed back slowly. 1 meeting, supervised, on my terms. If you do anything to upset her, you're done. The response came within seconds. Thank you. I won't let her down. Olivia hoped that was true. The park was neutral territory. Olivia had chosen it deliberately, a place where Emma felt comfortable, where there were other families and open space and easy escape routes if things went wrong. She'd told Emma that morning, keeping it simple. We're meeting someone today. A friend of Mommy's. Emma had looked up from her cereal. What kind of friend? Someone I knew a long time ago. Someone who wants to meet you. Why? Because he's your father. Because I've been lying to you by omission for your entire life. Because everything is about to change and I don't know if I'm making the right choice. Because you're a pretty amazing kid, Olivia had said instead. Now they sat on a bench near the playground, Emma's hand in hers. It was Saturday morning, the park busy with weekend families. Children shouted from the swings, a dog barked somewhere near the water fountain. Nathan appeared at exactly 10 o'clock, walking across the grass from the parking lot. He wore jeans and a simple navy shirt, no tie, no suit jacket. Trying to look approachable, Olivia realized, less intimidating. It didn't quite work. He still moved with that particular confidence, that awareness of his own presence. Emma pressed closer to Olivia's side as Nathan approached. He stopped a few feet away, and Olivia saw something she'd never seen before in his face. Nervousness. His hands were in his pockets, his shoulders slightly tense. Hi, he said, looking at Emma. Emma didn't respond, her face half hidden against Olivia's arm. Nathan glanced at Olivia, uncertain. She nodded slightly. Keep trying. He sat down on the grass in front of the bench, making himself lower than Emma, less threatening. My name is Nathan. Your mom said it was okay if I came to visit today. Emma peeked out at him. Why? Because I wanted to meet you. I've heard you're really good at drawing. Emma's grip on Olivia loosened slightly. Who told you that? Your mom. She said you like to make pictures of houses and families and all kinds of things. I draw other stuff too, not just houses. What else do you draw? Emma considered this. Animals, and princesses, and sometimes dragons. Dragons are cool. What color are your dragons? Purple, with green spots. Emma sat up a little straighter. Most people make them red, but that's boring. Nathan smiled, and Olivia saw Emma react to it. Her daughter was cautious, but she responded to genuine interest. Purple with green spots sounds much better than boring, Nathan said. Do you have any of your drawings with you? Emma looked at Olivia, who pulled a small sketchbook from her bag. Emma had insisted on bringing it, though she hadn't known why they were going to the park. Emma opened the book and flipped through pages, finally finding the dragon. She held it out tentatively. Nathan took it carefully, studying the picture with real attention. This is really good. Look at the detail on the scales. And the way you did the fire coming out of her mouth. Her mouth. She's a girl dragon. Sorry, her mouth. Nathan handed the book back. Does she have a name? Sparkle. That's a fierce name for a dragon. Emma almost smiled. Do you like dragons? I do, though I've never met a purple one with green spots before. They talked about dragons for a few more minutes. Emma's shyness was gradually fading, replaced by the animated enthusiasm she showed when discussing her favorite subjects. Olivia watched Nathan navigate the conversation, saw how he listened intently, asked follow-up questions, didn't talk down to Emma. He was trying, really trying. After a while, Emma slid off the bench. Can I go swing? Olivia nodded. Stay where I can see you. Emma ran toward the swings, her light-up sneakers flashing with each step. Nathan stood, brushing grass from his jeans. He moved to sit on the bench beside Olivia, keeping a respectful distance between them. She's incredible, he said quietly. She's 4. Don't put too much pressure on her. I'm not. I just meant she's smart and creative and braver than I expected. She's been through a lot. Medical appointments, tests, watching me struggle to pay bills. She's learned to be adaptable. Nathan was quiet.
Or a moment. I'm sorry you had to do that alone. We managed. You shouldn't have had to just manage. You should have had support. Olivia watched Emma swing higher, her curls flying behind her. Nathan, if you're doing this out of guilt or obligation, I'm not. He turned to look at her. I'm doing this because she's my daughter and I want to know her. Because looking at her is like looking at something I didn't know was missing until it appeared. Does that make sense? It did, more than Olivia wanted to admit. Emma jumped off the swing at the highest point of its arc and landed in the sand with a triumphant shout. She looked back at them, checking to see if they'd witnessed her daring feat. Nathan waved. Emma waved back before running toward the slide. She looks like you, Olivia said, more than me. The shape of her face, her expressions when she's thinking about something. But she has your coloring, your eyes, your stubbornness, apparently. You figured that out already. She wouldn't show me her drawings until she decided she wanted to. That's not something you can force. She makes her own decisions. She's 4. Smart 4-year-olds still have agency. Nathan paused. The medical consult came back. Dr. Reeves reviewed the information I sent. She wants to see Emma in person, do her own assessment. She thinks the local tests are a good starting point, but wants more detailed imaging. Olivia's chest tightened. When? Whenever you're ready. I can arrange transportation to Boston, accommodation if needed, whatever makes this easier for you. I haven't agreed to let you pay for anything. I know, but the offer stands. Emma's health isn't something we should gamble with because of pride. It's not about pride. Then what is it about? Olivia struggled to articulate the tangle of feelings. Once I accept your money, your help, everything changes. The power dynamic shifts. You become someone I'm dependent on, and Emma becomes someone you have leverage over. Nathan's expression darkened. I would never use her health as leverage. You say that now. I'll say it always. Whatever else you think of me, whatever you believe I'm capable of, know this. I will never, ever use our daughter's well-being as a bargaining chip for anything. If you don't believe anything else I tell you, believe that. The intensity in his voice made her look at him. His gray eyes were fierce, unwavering. I want to believe you, she admitted. Then do. Take a risk. Let me help. Emma appeared in front of them, slightly out of breath. I went down the big slide, the really tall one. I saw, Olivia said, very brave. Emma turned to Nathan. Did you see? I did. You went really fast. Emma beamed, then climbed onto the bench between them. She pulled out her sketchbook again. Do you want to see my other drawings? I'd love to. For the next 20 minutes, Emma walked Nathan through her entire sketchbook. Each drawing came with a detailed story, explanations of color choices, narratives about the character she'd created. Nathan listened to all of it with patient attention. Olivia found herself relaxing slightly. This was going better than she'd feared. Emma hadn't asked uncomfortable questions, Nathan hadn't pushed too hard, or tried to buy Emma's affection with promises of expensive gifts. He was just present, interested, real. When Emma ran off to play again, Nathan pulled a folder from his bag. I had papers drawn up.
Legal agreement about financial support for Emma's medical care. No strings attached, no custody modifications, just clear terms that the money is for her, with no expectations of access or control in return. Olivia took the folder, scanning the first page. The language was straightforward, exactly as he'd described. Margaret looked at this, she asked. I had my attorney send it to her office yesterday. She approved the terms, made a few modifications that I accepted. Olivia kept reading. The amount listed made her breath catch. Not just enough for the current medical needs, but a trust established for future care, for education, for security. This is too much. It's what she deserves, what you both deserve. Nathan, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars. I can afford it, and she's worth more than money can measure. Olivia closed the folder. I need to think about this. Take your time. But Olivia, the appointment with Dr. Reeves is in 5 days. I'd like to have this settled before then, for Emma's sake. Emma's test results had come back that morning. Dr. Morgan had called personally. The irregularity was more pronounced than he'd hoped. Surgery was likely necessary within the next few months. The specialized procedure in Boston offered better outcomes than local options. Olivia had thrown up after that phone call. 5 days, she repeated. We can go together. You, me, Emma, or just you and Emma if you prefer. But let me at least make sure she gets the best possible care. Emma called from the playground. Mommy, Nathan, come push me on the merry-go-round. They walked over together. Nathan pushed while Olivia steadied Emma on the spinning platform. Emma's laughter rang out, pure and joyful. For a moment, they looked like a family, like something normal and whole. The illusion shattered when Emma asked, Nathan, are you going to be here next time we come to the park? Nathan glanced at Olivia. She saw the hope in his eyes, the fear of saying the wrong thing. Would you like me to be here? He asked carefully. Emma nodded. You're nice, and you listen good. Then I'll be here, if your mom says it's okay. Emma looked at Olivia expectantly. Olivia took a breath. We'll see, baby. Nathan is very busy with work. Not too busy for this, Nathan said quietly. They stayed at the park for another hour. Nathan bought Emma ice cream from a vendor, asked Olivia's permission first. Emma got chocolate everywhere, and Nathan produced hand wipes from his pocket like he'd come prepared for exactly the scenario. When it was time to leave, Emma surprised them both by hugging Nathan goodbye. Brief, impulsive, then she ran back to Olivia's side. Nathan looked stunned, moved beyond words. Thank you, he said to Olivia, for letting me meet her, for giving me this chance. Don't make me regret it. I won't, I promise. Walking to the car, Emma held Olivia's hand and chattered about the park, about Nathan, about everything. He's nice, Mommy. Can he come again? Maybe, sweetheart. I think you should let him. He seems lonely. Olivia glanced down at her daughter. Why do you think he's lonely? Emma shrugged. His smile is sad, like he's happy, but also something else. 4 years old and already reading people with devastating accuracy. That night, after Emma was asleep, Olivia sat at her kitchen table with the legal documents spread before her. The numbers were staggering, life-changing. Her phone showed a text from Nathan. Thank you again for today. Emma is amazing. You've done an incredible job raising her. Whatever you decide about the medical support, know this. I meant everything I said. This isn't about control. It's about being her father in whatever way you'll allow. Olivia stared at the message for a long time. Then she picked up a pen and signed the agreement. The coffee shop near Olivia's house had become their unofficial meeting place. Nathan showed up 3 mornings a week now, always at 7:30, bringing Emma's favorite apple juice and a chocolate croissant. He'd sit at their table for 20 minutes, talking with Emma about her drawings or the stories she'd invented, then leave for his office with a quiet goodbye. It had become routine, comfortable even. That's why Vanessa Wright's appearance felt like a grenade dropped into still water. She walked into the coffee shop on a Thursday morning, tall and striking in a cream-colored suit that probably cost more than Olivia's monthly rent. Her platinum blonde hair was pulled back in a sleek ponytail, her blue eyes scanning the room with predatory efficiency. They landed on Nathan. Emma was showing him a new drawing, her small hands animated as she explained the story behind it. Nathan was leaning in, completely focused on his daughter, when Vanessa's heels clicked across the tile floor. Nathan, I thought I'd find you here. Nathan looked up, and Olivia saw his expression close off. The warmth disappeared, replaced by cool professionalism. "Vanessa, what are you doing in Portside?" "Looking for you, obviously. You've been ignoring my calls." Vanessa's gaze slid to Olivia, then to Emma, assessment happening in microseconds. "You must be the reason he's been so distracted." Olivia felt Emma press closer to her side. Nathan stood. "This isn't the time or place." "Really? Because you seem to have plenty of time for coffee dates?" Vanessa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Aren't you going to introduce me?" "No." Nathan's voice was flat. "We're having a private family moment." "Family?" Vanessa laughed, the sound sharp. "That's what we're calling this?" "Nathan, the board is asking questions. You've relocated half your operations to a town nobody's heard of, you're missing crucial meetings, and now I find you playing house with—" "Careful." Nathan's tone dropped to something dangerous. "Very careful how you finish that sentence." Vanessa's expression shifted, calculating. She turned to Olivia directly. "I'm sure he's told you we've been seeing each other. 6 months now, on and off. Mostly on lately, before he disappeared to this charming little town." Olivia's stomach dropped. She looked at Nathan, whose jaw had clenched. "That's not accurate," he said. "No? We had dinner 2 weeks before you left. You stayed at my place. We discussed the new office expansion. Ring any bells?" Nathan's silence was damning. "I see." Olivia's voice was carefully neutral. She stood, gathering Emma's things. "We should go." "Olivia, wait." Nathan reached for her arm, but she stepped back. "Emma, let's go home." Emma, sensing the tension, didn't argue. She clutched her juice box and followed Olivia toward the door. "Olivia, please, let me explain." But Olivia was already outside, unlocking her car with shaking hands. Emma climbed into her booster seat without being asked. Nathan followed them into the parking lot. "It's not what she made it sound like." "I don't care what it is." Olivia closed Emma's door and turned to face him. "This is exactly what I was afraid of. You have a whole life I know nothing about. Relationships, commitments, complications. I don't have a relationship with Vanessa. We had a few dinners, one of which happened before I knew about Emma. After that night at your house, I ended whatever was starting between us. She's a business associate who can't accept that things changed." "Did you sleep with her?" Nathan hesitated a fraction too long. Olivia laughed bitterly. "That's what I thought. It was before I knew about Emma, before I understood what I'd lost. It meant nothing. It meant something to her, apparently." Olivia opened her car door. "We have the Boston appointment tomorrow. I'll meet you at the hospital, but these morning visits need to stop for a while. Don't do this. Don't pull away because someone from my past is trying to cause problems. I'm not pulling away. I'm being realistic. You have a life, Nathan, a complicated one, and I can't have Emma caught in the middle of whatever drama comes with you." She got in the car before he could respond. In the rearview mirror, as she pulled away, she saw Vanessa join Nathan in the parking lot, saw her touch his arm, lean in close, saw Nathan shake her off and turn away. Emma was quiet on the drive home. "Mommy, are you mad at Nathan?" Olivia's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "No, baby, I'm just frustrated." "What's frustrated mean?" "It means things aren't going the way I hoped." "Is Nathan still coming to the doctor tomorrow?" Olivia's chest ached. "Yes, he's still coming." "Good. I like when he comes to things." That night, after Emma was asleep, Olivia sat on her porch with a glass of wine she wasn't drinking. Her phone buzzed repeatedly. Nathan calling. She let it go to voicemail. The texts came after. "Nathan, please let me explain properly. Nathan, Vanessa and I had a brief thing that ended weeks ago. She's upset because I told her I wasn't interested in pursuing anything serious. That happened before I even came to Portside. Nathan, she's trying to sabotage this because she knows how much Emma means to me. Don't let her succeed. Nathan, I know you have no reason to trust me, but I'm asking you to anyway, for Emma's sake. Don't let someone else's manipulation come between us. We've already lost too much time to that." The last message hit hard. They had lost time. 4 years stolen by Richard Cole's lies. And now Vanessa, trying to drive another wedge. Olivia picked up her phone and typed, "Did you love her?" The response came immediately. "No, I barely knew her. It was casual, brief, and over." Olivia, "Does she know that?" Nathan, "She does now. I told her explicitly this morning after you left. I also told her to stay away from you and Emma. She won't bother you again." Olivia, "You can't control what other people do." Nathan, Maybe, but I can make it very clear what the consequences will be if she tries. Olivia set the phone down. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that Vanessa was just a bitter ex, that Nathan's feelings for Emma were genuine and uncomplicated. But trust was expensive. She'd paid for misplaced trust once before. The Boston trip was tense. Nathan had arranged for a car service, a luxury SUV with leather seats and bottled water. Emma was delighted by the space, by the way the seat warmers felt like magic. Olivia sat as far from Nathan as the vehicle allowed. They barely spoke during the 2-hour drive. Nathan tried several times to start a conversation, but Olivia's responses were clipped, minimal. Eventually, he gave up, staring out the window at the passing landscape. Boston Children's Hospital was massive and gleaming, all modern architecture and colorful murals designed to make sick children feel less afraid. Emma held both their hands as they walked through the main entrance, a small bridge between two people who couldn't quite reach each other. Dr. Sarah Reeves was in her 50s, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, graying hair pulled into a practical bun. Her office was filled with children's drawings and thank you cards from grateful families. Emma. Dr. Reeves knelt to Emma's level. "I'm so glad to meet you. Your pictures are beautiful. I especially like the purple dragon." Emma brightened. "Nathan told you about Sparkle?" "He did. He said you're a very talented artist." The examination was thorough but gentle. Dr. Reeves talked Emma through each step, explaining what she was doing and why. Olivia held Emma's hand throughout, feeling her daughter's pulse flutter like a bird's wing. After the exam, Dr. Reeves sent Emma with a nurse to get a popsicle while she talked to Olivia and Nathan in her office. "The murmur is significant," she said without preamble. "It's developed into a more serious structural issue. The valve isn't closing properly, which means blood is flowing backward. Right now, Emma's heart is compensating, but that won't last indefinitely." Olivia felt the floor tilt. Nathan's hand found hers automatically, squeezing tight. "What are we looking at?" Nathan's voice was steady, but Olivia felt the tremor in his grip. "Surgery. Within the next 6 to 8 weeks. We'll do a valve repair, possibly replacement, depending on what we find once we're in there. It's a serious procedure, but the success rate is very high, over 95% for children Emma's age." "And the 5%? Olivia whispered. Dr. Reeves met her eyes with compassion. "We do everything possible to make sure Emma isn't in that 5%, but I won't lie to you. Any heart surgery carries risk. There's always a chance of complications, infection, adverse reactions to anesthesia." The room was spinning. Olivia couldn't breathe. "I need air." She stood abruptly and walked out of the office, down the hallway, through automatic doors into a courtyard garden. The November air was cold against her face. She leaned against a brick wall, trying to pull oxygen into lungs that didn't seem to work properly. Nathan appeared beside her moments later. He didn't speak, just stood there, his presence solid and steady. "She could die," Olivia said finally. "She won't." "You can't promise that." "No, but I can promise she'll have the best surgeon, the best team, the best possible chance, and I can promise you won't go through this alone." Olivia looked at him. His face was pale, his eyes haunted. He was scared too, just as terrified as she was. "I can't lose her, Nathan. She's everything. She's my whole world." "She's mine too." His voice cracked slightly. "I just found her. I can't lose her either." They stood together in the cold, two people bound by fear and love for the same small girl. "I'm sorry," Nathan said quietly, "about Vanessa, about not being clear enough that my past doesn't matter anymore. Emma matters. You matter. Everything else is just noise." "You matter too," Olivia admitted. "That's what scares me. Somewhere in the last few weeks, you started mattering again, and I don't know if I can survive being wrong about you twice." Nathan turned to face her fully. "You weren't wrong about me before. You were lied to. We both were. And I can't change that or fix it. But I can show up every single day from now on. I can be honest and present and real, if you'll let me." Olivia wanted to say yes. wanted to fall into the possibility of trust, of partnership, of something like a family, but fear held her back. "Let's focus on Emma right now," she said instead, "one crisis at a time." Nathan nodded, disappointment flickering across his face before he masked it. One crisis at a time. They went back inside together. Emma was in the waiting room with her popsicle, her lips stained purple, chattering to the nurse about her dragon drawings. She looked so small, so fragile. Olivia sat beside her, pulling Emma into her lap. Nathan sat on Emma's other side, close enough that they formed a unit. "Am I sick?" Emma asked, looking between them with those two knowing eyes. "Your heart needs a little help," Olivia said carefully. "The doctors are going to fix it so you can run and play without getting tired. Will it hurt?" "You'll be asleep. You won't feel anything." Emma considered this. "Will you be there?" "Every second, I promise." Emma looked at Nathan. "Will you be there too?" Nathan's eyes glistened. "Yes, if you want me there." "I want you there." Emma leaned against Olivia, suddenly tired. "I want both my parents." The word hung in the air between them. Parents. Emma had figured it out, or maybe just accepted what her heart already knew. Nathan looked at Olivia, a question in his eyes. Olivia nodded slightly. "We'll both be there," Nathan said, his voice thick with emotion. "I promise, Emma, we'll both be there." The surgery was scheduled for the second week of December, 6 weeks after the Boston consultation. 6 weeks of waiting, of watching Emma play while knowing her heart was working too hard, of marking days off the calendar with increasing dread. Nathan had become a constant presence, not invasive, but steady. He showed up for breakfast 3 mornings a week, helped with grocery shopping, sat with Emma while Olivia worked on freelance projects that had become nearly impossible to focus on. He'd moved into a rental house 10 minutes away, close enough to help, far enough to respect boundaries. The morning visits had resumed after a week of painful distance following Vanessa's appearance. Emma had asked where Nathan was, why he'd stopped coming. The hurt in her daughter's voice had broken something in Olivia's resolve. She texted him, "Emma misses you. You can come back." He'd showed up the next morning with apple juice and croissants like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. Nathan's father appeared on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 weeks before the surgery. Olivia answered the door expecting a delivery and found Richard Cole standing on her porch instead. He looked exactly like his photographs. Silver hair immaculate, expensive suit perfectly tailored, an air of authority that assumed compliance. "Miss Bennett, I believe we should talk." Olivia's hand tightened on the doorframe. "We have nothing to discuss." "I disagree. May I come in?" "No." Richard's expression didn't change. "I understand you're angry about past misunderstandings, but I'm here regarding my granddaughter's well-being. You gave up any claim to her when you tried to pay me to disappear. I was protecting my son's future. Surely, now that you have a child, you understand the lengths a parent will go to for their offspring. I understand that you're a manipulative man who destroyed 4 years of my daughter's life with her father. That's what I understand." Richard's mouth tightened. Nathan is making a mistake, allowing emotions to cloud his judgment. This situation with the child, it's disrupting everything he's built. The board is concerned. Investors are asking questions. Then maybe Nathan should find better investors. "You don't understand the business world. Perception matters. A billionaire with a secret child and a struggling single mother, it creates narratives, uncomfortable ones." Olivia felt ice flood her veins. "Are you threatening me?" "I'm explaining."
Denying reality. Nathan is worth billions. You're living in a rental house, barely making ends meet. When the press discovers this story, and they will, they'll paint you as a gold digger who trapped a wealthy man. Your daughter will grow up with that stigma. Get off my property. I'm offering you a solution. $2 million. A trust for the child's education and medical care. In exchange, you allow Nathan to maintain minimal involvement. Holiday visits, birthdays, financial support, but no co-parenting arrangement. No blurred lines. Clean boundaries. Olivia laughed, the sound bitter. You're trying the same play that didn't work 4 years ago. 4 years ago, you were proud and naive, but you're a mother now. You know what Emma needs: stability, privacy, a normal life. Not photographers following her to school, not tabloid stories about her father's love life, not the chaos that comes with being Nathan Cole's daughter. She deserves her father. She deserves a father who can focus on his responsibilities. Nathan is stretched too thin right now, trying to be everywhere at once. It's affecting his work, his judgment. Eventually, he'll resent the burden. Better to establish appropriate distance now than wait for the inevitable breakdown. The door opened wider. Nathan stood there, his expression colder than Olivia had ever seen it. "Get away from her." Richard turned, unsurprised. "Nathan, I was just discussing your daughter's best interests. You were threatening the mother of my child. There's a difference. I'm trying to protect you from a situation that will become increasingly complicated. This woman has already cost you 4 years. How much more are you willing to sacrifice?" Nathan stepped onto the porch, positioning himself between Richard and Olivia. "Emma hasn't cost me anything. You did. You stole 4 years I can't get back. You made decisions that weren't yours to make. And now you're here trying to do it again. Someone has to think clearly about this." "I am thinking clearly. For the first time in years." Nathan's voice was ice. "You're not welcome here. You're not welcome near Olivia or Emma. And if you ever approach either of them again, I will dedicate every resource I have to destroying everything you've built. Do you understand me?" Richard's expression hardened. "You'd threaten your own father? You stopped being my father when you lied to me about the woman I loved, when you paid people to make her disappear, when you decided your vision of my life was more important than my actual life." Nathan took a step forward. "I meant what I said last time. You're done. Cut off. The moment you showed up here, you proved you can't be trusted. You're making a mistake that will cost you everything. The only mistake I made was believing you actually cared about my happiness, instead of your legacy." Nathan pulled out his phone. "I'm calling security to escort you back to your car. If you're not off this property in 5 minutes, I'm calling the police." Richard looked at Olivia. "When this falls apart, and it will, don't come looking for another payout. Get out." Olivia's voice was steady, despite the shaking in her hands. "Before I call the police myself." Richard descended the porch steps with measured dignity, as if this had been his choice. His car, a black luxury sedan, sat at the curb. He drove away without looking back. Nathan turned to Olivia. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Angry, but fine." She studied his face. "How did you know he was here?" "Security alert. I have someone monitoring your address just in case he tried something like this." At her expression, he added quickly, "Not surveillance, just notification if anyone concerning approaches. I should have told you. I'm sorry." Olivia should have been angry about the invasion of privacy. Instead, she felt oddly protected. "He offered me $2 million. Of course he did. Money is the only language he speaks." Nathan ran a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry. I thought making my position clear would be enough. I didn't think he'd come here directly. He said the press will find out. Make me look like a gold digger. Let them. I don't care what anyone thinks. Emma will care. When she's older, when she's in school and kids search her name online." Nathan was quiet for a moment. "Then we control the narrative. We tell the story ourselves, on our terms, before anyone else can twist it. I don't want to be in the spotlight. You won't be. But Emma deserves to have the truth out there. Not speculation or gossip. The truth." He paused. "We could do an interview, something carefully controlled. Explain that we were separated by circumstances, that we're working together to co-parent our daughter. Simple, dignified, boring enough that the press will lose interest quickly." Olivia wanted to say no, wanted to hide from cameras and questions and public scrutiny. But Richard's words had planted seeds of fear. Emma would face this eventually. Better to face it together, prepared. "After the surgery," she said. "I can't think about this now." "After the surgery," Nathan agreed. "Whatever you need." Emma appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She'd been napping. "Nathan, you're here. Are we having lunch together?" Nathan's expression softened completely. "If your mom says it's okay." Emma looked at Olivia hopefully. "Sure, baby. Let's make lunch." They moved into the kitchen. Emma chattering about what she wanted to eat, Nathan lifting her so she could help stir ingredients. Olivia watched them together, saw how natural it had become.
how Emma reached for Nathan's hand automatically, how Nathan listened to her endless questions with genuine interest. He'd kept every promise, shown up every time, been patient and present and real. Later, after Emma had gone to bed, Nathan stayed to help clean up. They worked in comfortable silence, washing dishes, wiping counters, the domestic routine surprisingly easy. "I'm scared," Olivia admitted as she dried the last plate, "about the surgery, about something going wrong." "Me too." Nathan set down the dish towel. "I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about all the things that could happen, all the ways I could lose her before I've really gotten to know her. You know her. She adores you. Does she understand who I am? That I'm her father? She knows. She hasn't said it directly, but she knows. 4-year-olds understand more than we give them credit for." Nathan leaned against the counter. "When this is over, when she's recovered and healthy, I want to tell her officially. I want her to call me Dad if she wants to. I want to be more than Nathan who brings croissants. What if she's not ready? Then I wait until she is. But I want her to know she has the option, that I'm not going anywhere." Olivia studied him in the dim kitchen light. Somewhere over the past few weeks, her anger had faded into something more complicated. Not forgiveness exactly, but understanding. Recognition that they'd both been victims of Richard's manipulation. But Nathan had lost just as much as she had. "The night before the surgery," she said quietly, "I want you to stay here, with us, so Emma wakes up to both of you." "Us." Nathan's eyes glistened. "You mean that?" "We're her parents, both of us. Whatever else we are or aren't to each other, we're that. And she needs to feel secure going into this." "Thank you," Nathan's voice was rough, "for letting me be part of this, for giving me a chance to be her father. You've earned it." They stood in the kitchen, the space between them charged with things unsaid. Olivia thought Nathan might close the distance, might try to kiss her or say something about the feelings that had been building beneath the surface of their co-parenting arrangement. Instead, he just smiled sadly. "I should go. Early meeting tomorrow." "Okay." At the door, Nathan paused. "Olivia, whatever happens with the surgery, whatever comes after, I want you to know something. These past few weeks, getting to know Emma, being part of your daily lives, it's been the best part of my entire year, maybe my entire life. I know I don't deserve this second chance, but I'm grateful for it every single day. Nathan, you don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know." He left before she could respond. Olivia stood in the doorway, watching his car disappear down the street, her heart doing complicated things in her chest. The surgery was 5 days away, 5 days until everything changed again. She closed the door and checked on Emma one more time. Her daughter slept peacefully, her small chest rising and falling with steady breaths. Sparkle the stuffed dragon was clutched in her arms, and on the nightstand sat a framed photo Nathan had given her last week. The 3 of them at the park. Olivia pushing Emma on the swing, Nathan standing beside them, all of them laughing at something Emma had said. They looked like a family. Olivia touched the frame gently, then turned off the light. In the darkness, she let herself imagine a future where that photo was reality, where Nathan stayed, where Emma grew up healthy and whole with both her parents, where Olivia could trust her heart again. The thought terrified her, but it also felt like hope. The morning of the surgery arrived cold and gray, December wind rattling the windows. Nathan had stayed the night on the couch, and when Olivia emerged from her bedroom at 5 in the morning, she found him already awake, staring at nothing. "Couldn't sleep?" she asked quietly. "Didn't try." He looked exhausted, shadows under his eyes. "You? An hour, maybe 2? They made coffee in silence, the kitchen dark except for the light above the stove. Emma wouldn't be awake for another hour. They'd explained everything to her yesterday, kept it simple and honest. The doctors would fix her heart while she slept. It would hurt afterward, but then she'd feel better than ever. Emma had nodded solemnly and asked if she could bring Sparkle the dragon. Now Olivia stood at the kitchen window, watching the sky slowly lightening, feeling Nathan's presence behind her like a steadying force. "Whatever happens today," she said without turning around, "I'm glad you're here. There's nowhere else I'd be." Emma woke at 6, quieter than usual. She let Olivia dress her in comfortable clothes, didn't argue about breakfast, even though she couldn't eat before surgery. Nathan carried her to the car, and she rested her head on his shoulder, Sparkle clutched tightly. The drive to Boston was silent, except for the quiet music playing from the speakers. Emma dozed in her car seat. Olivia held Nathan's hand across the console, their fingers intertwined. Neither of them let go until they reached the hospital. Boston Children's Hospital was quieter this early, the hallways less crowded. A nurse met them at the pediatric surgical wing, her smile warm and practiced. "Emma, I'm Nurse Caroline. I'm going to be with you today. Is that your dragon?" Emma nodded, pressing Sparkle closer. "She's beautiful. Can she come with you?" Another nod. The pre-op room was small but cheerful, decorated with colorful murals. Emma changed into a tiny hospital gown, and Olivia's heart cracked seeing how small her daughter looked in it. Dr. Reeves appeared, her manner calm and confident. "Good morning, Emma. How are you feeling?" "Scared," Emma whispered. "That's very brave of you to say. It's okay to be scared, but I promise we're going to take very good care of you." Dr. Reeves knelt beside the bed. "Your mommy and daddy will be right here when you wake up, and Sparkle gets to come with you all the way until you fall asleep." Emma looked at Nathan. "You're really my daddy?" The question hung in the air. Nathan's eyes filled, but his voice was steady. "Yes, I'm really your daddy. Mommy said so, but I wanted to make sure." "I'm sure, and I love you very much." Emma considered this. "I love you too, Daddy." Nathan broke. Tears spilled down his face as he bent to kiss Emma's forehead. Olivia was crying too, one hand on Emma's shoulder, the other gripping Nathan's arm. "Both my parents love me," Emma said with simple satisfaction. "So much," Olivia managed, "more than anything in the world." The anesthesiologist arrived, explained the process in child-friendly terms. Emma would breathe special air that smelled like strawberries, and she'd fall asleep. When she woke up, her heart would be fixed. "Will it hurt?" asked. "A little bit after, but we have medicine to make it better, and your parents will be right there." They wheeled Emma toward the operating room. Olivia and Nathan walked along the gurney, each holding one of Emma's hands. At the doors marked authorized personnel only, they had to stop. "We'll see you so soon, baby," Olivia said, kissing Emma's cheek. Nathan kissed her other cheek. "You're the bravest girl I know." Emma held Sparkle up to each of them for a kiss too. Then the doors opened, and she was gone. Olivia stood frozen, staring at the closed doors. Her daughter was on the other side, about to be cut open, about to have her heart touched by strangers' hands. Nathan's arms came around her. She collapsed against him, and they stood in the hallway holding each other while the world narrowed to this single moment of terror. The waiting room was beige and sterile, filled with other families experiencing their own nightmares. Nathan and Olivia sat pressed together on an uncomfortable couch, not speaking. There was nothing to say that would make this easier. Julie arrived after an hour, bringing coffee and granola bars neither of them could eat. She sat with them, a solid presence. "Emma's a fighter. She's going to be fine." Olivia nodded, but couldn't make words work. 3 hours. Dr. Reeves had said 3 to 4 hours. At hour 2, Nathan stood abruptly and walked to the window. Olivia watched his shoulders shake, watched him fight for control. She joined him, taking his hand. "She's going to be okay. You can't know that. I know she's strong. I know she has the best surgeon. I know she's fought through everything else life has thrown at her." Nathan turned to her. "If something happens, if we lose her, I need you to know that meeting her, these past few weeks with both of you, it changed everything. You gave me something I didn't know was missing. Purpose, family, love." Olivia's throat was tight. "Nathan, I'm in love with you. I probably never stopped. And I know this is the worst possible time to say it, but I can't sit here not saying it. I can't risk never telling you." Before Olivia could respond, a nurse appeared. "Mr. Cole, Miss Bennett, Dr. Reeves would like to speak with you." The world stopped. They followed the nurse down a hallway, Olivia's legs moving automatically. This was it. Good news or devastating news. Life continued or shattered. Dr. Reeves met them outside a consultation room, still in her surgical scrubs. Her expression was tired but smiling. The surgery was successful. Emma did beautifully. Olivia's knees buckled. Nathan caught her, held her up. "She's okay?" Nathan's voice was hoarse. "She's perfect. The valve repair went exactly as planned. No complications. She's in recovery now, still sleeping off the anesthesia, but all her vitals are strong." Olivia was sobbing, unable to stop. Relief crashed through her like a physical force. "When can we see her?" Nathan asked. "About 30 minutes. She'll be groggy and uncomfortable, but she'll know you're there. That's what matters." They waited in the recovery area, watching through a window as nurses monitored Emma's small form surrounded by machines. Her chest rose and fell steadily. Sparkle sat on the pillow beside her head. "She made it," Olivia whispered. "She made it," Nathan repeated, like a prayer. When they were finally allowed in, Emma was awake but drowsy. Her eyes found them immediately. "Mommy, Daddy." They were on either side of her bed instantly, careful not to jostle wires and tubes. "Hi, baby. You did so good." Olivia kissed her forehead gently. "Does it hurt?" "A little bit, but the medicine is helping, and it's going to get better every day." Emma's hand found Nathan's. "You stayed?" "Of course I stayed. I promised, remember?" Emma's eyes were already closing again. "Both my parents stayed." She drifted back to sleep between them. The first 2 days were difficult. Emma was in pain, despite medication, frightened by all the medical equipment, tearful and clingy. Olivia and Nathan took turns sitting with her, one sleeping while the other kept vigil. By day 3, Emma was demanding to color. By day 5, she was arguing about eating her vegetables. "She's definitely feeling better," the nurse said with a laugh. They stayed in Boston for 2 weeks. Nathan had arranged a suite at a nearby hotel with separate bedrooms, close enough to walk to the hospital. Gradually, their routine shifted from crisis mode to something almost normal. Mornings at Emma's bedside, afternoons in the playroom when she was strong enough. Evenings, after Emma slept, Nathan and Olivia would sit in the hotel's quiet lounge, talking about everything and nothing. One night, Olivia finally addressed what Nathan had said before the surgery. "You told me you loved me." Nathan looked up from his coffee. "I did. I do. I don't know if I can say it back yet. Too much has happened. Too much hurt. I know. I wasn't asking you to say it back. I just needed you to know. But I think I could get there. Eventually. If you're patient." Nathan's smile was soft. "I've waited 4 years without knowing she existed. I can wait however long you need." 3 months after the surgery, Emma ran on the beach near their house, her laughter carried by the wind. Dr. Reeves had cleared her for normal activities. Her heart was strong, healthy, fixed. Nathan had officially moved to Portside, his company's regional office fully operational. He'd promoted someone else to handle the day-to-day in the main headquarters. His priorities had shifted. Emma called him Daddy now without hesitation. She split time between both houses, but was pushing for them to live together. "It's silly having 2 houses," she'd announced last week. "Families live in 1 house." Olivia watched Nathan chase Emma through the sand, both of them shrieking when a wave crashed closer than expected. Julie sat beside her on the blanket they'd spread out. "You're smiling," Julie observed. "I'm happy." "About time. When are you going to put that man out of his misery and admit you love him?" "I don't." Olivia stopped. "Maybe I do. Maybe. Please. You've been in love with him for months, since before the surgery probably." "It's complicated." "It's not. You love him. He loves you. Emma loves both of you. The only thing complicating it is your fear." Olivia watched Nathan lift Emma onto his shoulders, her small hands in his hair, her face radiant with joy. "What if it doesn't work?" Olivia asked quietly. "What if it does?" That evening, after Emma was asleep, Nathan and Olivia sat on her porch swing. It had become their spot, this quiet space where they could talk without little ears listening. "Emma asked me today if you were going to be her mommy and daddy forever," Nathan said. "What did you tell her?" "That I'm her daddy forever, no matter what, but that the mommy-daddy together part was up to her mommy." Olivia's heart was racing. That's a lot of pressure. I didn't mean it that way. I just meant... Nathan stopped, frustrated. I'm terrible at this, at knowing what to say. Are I? Because I want to ask you something and I'm terrified of the answer. Olivia turned to face him. Ask. Nathan took her hand. Move in with me, or let me move in here, or we'll find a new place together. I don't care about the logistics. I just want us to be a real family, all three of us, together. Not just co-parenting, but actually building a life. Nathan, I know you're scared. I know I hurt you, even if it wasn't intentional. I know trust takes time to rebuild. But I love you, Olivia. I love Emma. And I think you might love me too, even if you're not ready to say it. So I'm asking you to take a chance. On us. On this. Olivia looked at their joined hands, then at his face. At the hope and fear there in equal measure. She thought about the past 4 years. The struggle, the loneliness, the strength she'd built from necessity. She thought about the past few months. Nathan showing up every day, proving himself through actions, not words, becoming the father Emma deserved. She thought about waking up this morning to find him already in her kitchen making coffee, Emma's laughter as he helped her get dressed, the ease of their routine. I love you, she said. I think I never stopped, even when I hated you, even when I was terrified of trusting you again. I love you. Nathan's eyes were bright. Yeah? Yeah. Olivia laughed, surprised by her own certainty. So, yes, let's find a house together. Let's be a family. Let's do this properly. Nathan kissed her, soft at first, then deeper. 4 years of longing and loss and found again love in that single kiss. When they pulled apart, he was grinning. Emma's going to be insufferable about being right. She already is. They sat together on the swing, wrapped in each other, planning a future that felt suddenly possible. Inside, Emma slept peacefully, her heart strong and whole. Both her parents finally where they belonged. The billionaire had left her pregnant 4 years ago, but karma hadn't destroyed him. It had given them all a second chance.